All right, gentlemen, we are live from my house. And because I do not like to pay for the heating bill, I have a hat on because it's kind of cold in here. So there you go. All right, let's do this. So we're talking about gender today. Anytime now. All right. So we got some key terms: feminism, suffrage, pink tax, the pill, wage gap, intersectionality. We're talking about how the roles and treatment of women and men have stayed the same, but also changed over the last 100 years. Okay. All right. So, what was the role of men at the start of the 20th century? Well, they were the breadwinners. Okay, they were the ones that went out, they worked, all right, at a job. All right, they're the ones that drove places. They're the ones that went out. All right, it was strictly a male-dominated work society. Okay, whereas women stayed at home. Right, their job was to cook, clean. It was domestic. It was solely domestic. Okay, you had women as educators. Okay, teachers like elementary schools or whatever. You had women as nurses, but that was like the limit to the jobs for women. Okay, why were households set up this way? Because this was the traditional family setup. Men went out, men got jobs, women stayed at home. All right, this was seen as how society should be run. Okay, so what are the effects of these gender roles? So men feel that they have to they have to be the breadwinner, right? They have to be the one that has the job. They have to be the one that's getting paid more. All right, staying at home means, excuse me, you're a failure. Okay, and also, so like men then don't really care to learn about any domestic chores or anything like that. That was a woman's job to cook, a woman's job to clean, all that sort of stuff. Okay. What are the effects of these gender roles for women? Well, it pigeonholes women into like, hey, you get to stay at home, or you can stay at home. And guess what? You could stay at home. Okay. So, and then your life revolves around the success of your husband. That's it. All right. So it then becomes an assumption that all women are good cooks, all women can clean, and this is like a woman's job to do. And her job is to make sure that she takes care of her man when he gets home. All right, so it's very subservient. All right. Shows from the 50s. Okay, I Love Lucy, Andy Griffith, Honeymooners, Father. Literally, the show's title is Father Knows Best. Come on. All right, we got Leave It to Beaver over here. All right. So what caused there to be changes in the traditional gender role? Well, progressive era. You start women in the 1920s start asking for more freedom. Right to suffrage, so the 19th Amendment, which I think is 1919, and so that gives women the right to vote. Okay, you have the need to fill jobs in in plants and industrial work from World War I and World War II. Okay, so how are men affected by these changes? Well, I mean, you're taking away power from men. That's bottom line. So it is men are used to be seen as dominant in the workforce and everything, and that all changes. So women are affected, whereas women get the chance to be outside of the home, but at the same time, it's still, even today, there's different playing fields where women do get the right to vote, but they're still looked down upon. All right, they're still seen as not as equal as men. But there is an increase of women in the workforce, as you can see, starting in the 30s. Kind of really 50s it starts when it really picks up. All right. This is why we start to like, okay, so what are the kids going to do if the man's at work and the woman's at work? All right, so this is where you start to have daycare centers. This is where you start like kids got to go to school. All right, kids are on their own more. All right. We start to see these two-income households where both the man and the woman are in bringing money in. So what happens to the households? That increases money coming in. So that increases consumer spending. Okay, but that also changes the dynamic of who's in charge a little bit. All right, and also who should be doing things around the house. Okay, where so today like males, it's not uncommon for males to clean, do all this sort of stuff. Like that's not something that's like weird for them to do. All right. That is the end of the first video. If I could find out. All right. Later.